Good morning, Eat Denver. My name is Kara Blauvelt, and I am with ODBs. It is my pleasure to introduce our esteemed speaker today, Kevin Nguyen. Kevin is a founder of Regular Architecture, an award-winning firm based here in Denver, renowned for its innovative approach to architectural design. Today, Kevin will be presenting his insightful talk titled The Psychology of Restaurant Design, Creating Intentional Spaces and Communicating a Brand. In this engaging presentation, he will explore how thoughtful design can influence the dining experience and strengthen a restaurant's identity. Kevin's commitment to a form meets function ethos has set him apart in the architectural world. His work prioritizes the typology of each project, resulting in beautiful, effortless spaces that resonate with their users. He and his talented team have designed some of Denver's top restaurants, including award-winning Becon, Sap Sua, Hop Alley, Dio Mio, Point Easy, and the Wolf's Tailor. He is currently designing Boombot's Pasta Shop for us. Beyond his professional achievements, Kevin is passionate about collaborating with clients who are dedicated in making a positive impact through their craft. In his leisure time, he enjoys exploring Denver's culinary scene with his wife Ashley, being a dog dad, and showing off some of his newest pairs of sneakers. Please join me in welcoming Kevin Nguyen.
That's a lot of people. Thank you, Kara. Let's see if we can do this. So when Christian reached out to me with this topic idea, I was incredibly excited about it because it's something we really focus on a day-to-day basis. What I didn't think about is how big of an idea this really is. I think restaurant design carries a unique challenge in that the design typology, much more than any others, lives at the intersection of form and function. First and foremost, if a restaurant space doesn't function for its intended purpose, it's not going to work. But it has to be beautiful because that's what draws out the majority of the people that come out to spaces, the food and the space. For many of us, visiting a restaurant is about more than food. It's an escape from reality or a transportation back to a world that we miss. Food holds a unique power to trigger powerful and lasting memories, and it's our goal as designers to build onto this through the way that we experience these spaces. A recent survey done by the National Restaurant Association about full-service restaurants said that 64% of consumers note the experience as a major driver when they come to new restaurants. These majority of the people that I think we're speaking about and designing things for regularly, either consciously or subconsciously, they go to restaurants because of the positive experiences. And these are the people that, in my mind, become the regulars. The idea of the regular is not only connected to us via our name, but an overall ideology about how people can best experience space and the type of guests that can create a successful environment for the restaurateur. We believe these are the types of people that will make a successful restaurant in the long term. The things that create the regulars are things like personalized service, staff members that see people and give them anticipating their needs and providing more personal experience. Something that can be translated to almost every guest with the way they enter and interact with the space. Relationship building. Regulars often build relationships with the people that work there, becoming familiar with their names and perhaps even their professional lives. We believe that creating spaces where people feel comfortable allow them to create those interactions with the staff that's in the building. And personally, I design that space into every one of my restaurants. It's probably at the bar with a view of the kitchen. The vibe. The vibe is kind of a weird word for me. I don't love it, but people are often attracted to the mood, the vibe, and the memories associated with their visits. At the end of the day, what we're doing is creating memory through food and hospitality. This is where things like the sound, the density of the seating, and the flow can really impact an experience. And I think the most important one is loyalty. A regular is someone who will come to a restaurant often, recommend it to the people that they love, and drag people over. And at the baseline, I think this is really about hospitality. And for us, the way that we design a space allows you to do your job in an easier way. To run that hospitality, we should be designing a space that lets you work without distractions or roadblocks. So why is designing a space important? As we begin to dissect what all this means, I really like to start by understanding how we use these spaces. First from the customer's perspective, and then trying to understand it from the operator. From the customer side, everything starts with this initial greeting. Whether it's the first moment of hospitality as a welcoming hand or a host stand, it's going to direct what that experience is going to be as you go through the restaurant. Once that initial greeting has taken place, the next major interaction is getting people to their seat. Is this a guided tour through the restaurant to where you're sitting, or is it a point to sit at that table or that bar seat? These start to say how we're going to experience this space, things all the way down to the price point of the restaurant probably. We always try to add unexpected moments and create micro memories along this process. As you walk to your seat, if you have a drink in your hand, if you get a peek into the kitchen, or maybe you walk by the bar and the bartender waves at you and welcomes you into the space. These are the moments that start to create a positive experience within the restaurant. And then once you're seated, it should really be about the food and the service. And this is something we really focus on, in that the restaurant should wow you when you walk in, but the moment you're seated at the table, it should be about the hospitality. It should be about the food on your plate. It should be about the service, because that's really what we're here for. We're here to get a delicious meal in a positive environment and enjoy our company. From the operator, I think it's a little bit different. It's probably 80% about the function of the space and 20% about how it feels. If the space doesn't work to make service as efficient as possible, it can create weird hiccups that on a busy night really cause a lot of trauma and headache in your guys' lives. This is where we think it's important to remember that these spaces, while having the ability to be incredibly beautiful, are not trophy pieces for designers, but functional art meant for the execution of hospitality. Defining sight lines, ensuring we keep a constant eye on guests, and understanding the view from all dining areas and from the kitchen is extremely important. If the chef can see someone eating, they can decide how to course out their food, or maybe slow things down, or even see someone that's not having a good time and fix the issue before it turns into a problem where they leave a bad Yelp review. The importance of proximity in the restaurant, keeping things close, like the POS, service stations, having a glass of water close to someone or a new fork. A well-designed restaurant can maximize the available staff, enhancing customer experience. Things like the proximity of the bar to the host stand, as an example here, allows the bartenders to back up the host if they're taking someone to their seat, so that everyone that comes into the restaurant gets that handshake instead of the wait at the host stand. We all know that the most valuable asset in the restaurant are the people, so how do we ensure they enjoy what they do? We all love to work in a well-lit space, see the outside, and that leads to the importance of natural daylight. The real action happens during the day. Someone's always seeming to be at the restaurant, whether it's prepping in the kitchen or enjoying that comfortable corner booth and doing some office work before the day gets started. It may sound cliche, but I think there's something to tasting the love. And that starts with the prep cook in the morning. They should have a great space to work. While these items are important, the biggest challenge is the connection between what we know, our understanding of typology, and how each different operator views these things. We always start with asking a lot of questions, but these three tend to give us the most information on how to push something forward. What type of food are you serving? This helps us define what the kitchen looks like. What type of equipment do we have? Is this an open kitchen or a closed kitchen? As an example, seeing the flames from a wok is something that probably everybody wants to see. But seeing people drop pasta in a pasta well, probably not. What are we thinking about service style? Taking the restaurateur's idea of the space and converting it into something. Are we talking about counter service, full service, some sort of hybrid? These things really start to trigger the way that we experience the space, both from the customer side and from the restaurateur's side. And probably the one that's most connected to this, what about the vibe, the brand? What's the reason? What's the story behind this restaurant? I believe we can tell a story through the space and have that be the first interaction from every guest. The connection of the way that we experience the space to the overall brand gives continuity to the experience. Because of this, we focus on how space can connect, and we always start with these images without color. we tend to focus on the way that we interact with the space, so the materiality isn't as important at this fight. And with that, I kind of want to walk through a few of our spaces and how we use them to define that connection to the brand and the overall idea. The Wolf's Tailor's open kitchen with natural daylight creates a positive work environment for the prep and recipe testing. The concept of this restaurant was always about the maker. So our focus was on creating a kitchen and prep area that focused and showcased them. So positive or negative, it's a little bit like they're in a zoo, but it's really beautiful. At Sap Sua, the entry lobby decreased the overall length of the restaurant and allowed a space where they can see people coming in to create that first experience. This space was about telling the story of Vietnamese food through a shared, well, varied experience of the owners. An emphasis on hospitality and a focus on the kitchen from every moment you walk through the door makes it feel like home. Point Easy is an attempt at redefining what the neighborhood bar is. We always wanted to speak to the history of this location and how can we elevate food while keeping the space inviting. The large bar takes center space with the brightly covered lighting fixture that acts as an invitation from the street. Because the bar is the focus, it feels like a neighborhood spot you can always walk into. Redeemer Pizza looked to redefine what the classic pizza spot could be. Take on traditional New York City pizzerias with a bit of the owner's personality. Multiple service types led to multiple entries that can be operated differently through the day. It's a pizza restaurant that's also a mullet. You get date night in the kitchen, and you can have a party on the patio in the back. We made these super awesome Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cat candles, and I just had to show them. Chiquita is the new one on the scene, recreates a Mexico City in the heart of Denver, not through mimicking it, but by taking the pieces we believe make it special and emphasizing them. Chiquita was about creating a space that was a departure from what we are used to in Mexican food. A mix of raw natural materials and live plants create a juxtaposition that feels genuinely Mexico City. The focus on the food, opening up the kitchen, and creating a tortilla station adjacent really displays the importance of corn, which was the highlight for the chef. Becon. Becon was always a story about excellence. The awe that you enter the room, but the service and excitement during the meal is all at eye level, and a focus on the food. The entry through this space is through a small anteroom, and as you enter, you get a view of this altar to food. And the beautiful artwork by Sandra Fettingus creates, when you're standing, a view up, and when you're sitting, the darkness allows you to focus directly on the food and the service that's happening in front of you. No distractions. It's not about the space. What does all this mean? I think what it means is there's no silver bullet to create space that connects you to your brand. It's important to do the work early in the process to create a defined and succinct goal that can be expressed throughout the design and experience once completed. Developing a brand early in the design can help to influence the space and design. I think the industry is constantly changing and growing. It's our work as designers, along with the owners, to understand what's next. Restaurant design and branding are not about trends, but about how we can interpret movements to build a long-lasting idea in space. Longevity is how a restaurant succeeds and thrives. These are not short-term spaces. So join me in being a regular with our community. In my mind, that's the real secret to our success. Intimate understanding of the craft and hospitality connected with restaurants and their brands allows us to see the pretty pictures, see beyond the pretty pictures, and understand what makes the space tick. Thank you.